Okay, a note about execution. Wrestling is about executing, not really learning more moves. If I'm on a free throw line and I shoot with the same technique that the pros use, and the ball doesn't go in the net, I don't go searching for a new way to hold the basketball or shoot the basketball. We do that in wrestling. You hear people all the time say, "We didn't learn anything new. We didn't learn anything new." Like they didn't get that. Like they wasted their time. Well, let's write down a good drill plan that's going to work at the highest level, and let's implement that till it works. And don't always be looking for new, because oftentimes that puts you behind. Remember, you only get one shot at this, and if your son or daughter really does want to wrestle in college, I mean, basically you have until you're 17 years old. And when you're 17, these coaches have to be, after your athlete, and you start program hopping, coach hopping. Now, sometimes there's a need for that. If you've wrestled a long time and you're not getting the results, it's time to find something different, But if you have a coach who maybe has some accomplishments in wrestling and kind of, has been down in the ditch, down in the trenches, and certainly has a wealth of coaching experience and the accomplishments, How many guys, they sent 18 kids to college wrestling over the past 20 years, and they're earning scholarships, or they've had kids win senior nationals or their state titles and state trophies, and they have a lot of success. Then you just say, well, hey, we're in the right place. We just have to get better at executing, and maybe not always keep looking for more or different. And that's a big mistake I see quite a bit. So as far as executing is concerned, a lot of that comes down to live wrestling. People talk a lot about practice partners, but I think a lot of it does come down to using your partners wisely. What we recommend is get a partner you can beat on, someone that you're even with, and someone that can beat on you. And then when I wrestle someone I can beat, I work my stuff. I might practice my elbow pass. I'm only practicing a few things. I wrestle someone who I'm even with. I'm still working those things, but my wrestling's a little bit tighter. And I'm keeping track of these scores. I'm driving home after practice. I keep a tally. I get my practice partners, and I say, these are the 3 kids who I'm even with. By February 1st, I want to be beating all these guys by 5 to 8 points. And I seriously set goals like this, and I take notes, and I go to my coach, hey, so-and-so, he keeps getting my wrist on bottom. This is keeping me from getting up. How do I fix that? And then you hit 600 reps of those over the next 3 days. 200 a day for 3 days. Fix it. Stomp it out. Stomp that fire out and go. Then you keep track. And then, that's what you do when you have the kids you're even with. Find the kids who are better than you, and then set your goal to close the gap. And what we say is this: whether it's a workout partner or maybe just someone I only get to wrestle once or twice or 3 times a year, I have a few guys I'm trying to close the gap on. So maybe someone's beaten me by 8 points the past couple of times. My goal is to have a 2-point match with them, because once I do that, I put myself within striking distance of winning. And if let's say I get second at state, I never beat Johnny, but I used to lose by 8 to 10. Now I only lost by 3 points in the state finals. But nationwide, I've passed up probably 2,000 kids in America that are within 2 years and 10 pounds of me. That's good, So sometimes you got to look to find those successes in the losses, and setting your goals to close the gap on those better opponents, and say, I'm going to beat them eventually, but my goal immediately is just to close the gap. And plus it takes the win and loss out of wrestling, because in wrestling a lot of times you're either a winner or you're a loser, and we try to always remove that from the wrestling, especially whenever we're not ranked top 2 or 3 in the state. In those cases, our goal is to win all those matches for the entire year. But in these matches where we're climbing, trying to get a medal the first time, or we're trying to get in the finals the first time, but there's a couple big hurdles that have dominated me. We're trying to move into that. So, but as far as executing, once you can drill something, 500 times, then you start to use it in live wrestling. Then you start to use it against the better kids. Then pretty soon your technique's starting to show themselves against those top tier guys, and that's when wrestling gets fun. And that's a good kind of formula for being able to execute. And then you'll not be someone who chases their tail around, always looking for, oh, that didn't work, let's go find some different way. No, stick with what works. It's proven to work. You just are not good at it yet, But remember, unlike a good basketball player, he's left to shoot. No one's moving the net. No one's hitting him or pushing him off the line. Well, in wrestling, all those things are taking place. So even the wrestling moves or technique, it's not going to be perfect in live competition. It's going to look rather ugly, and because it's a fight. So keep that in mind too. But you're going to see that if you use your live wrestling partners wisely, you can bridge that gap pretty quick.